What's happening, everybody? Steve here, Cars with Steve, and today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the steering wheel and the instrument cluster in the 2022 Hyundai Kona. Now, this is going to be the gas version of the vehicle. If you're looking for one for the electric version of the Kona instead, check down in the description below for that walk around. But let's dive into it, have a little bit of fun, and see what's going on with the steering wheel and cluster buttons inside the Kona. Let's kind of start off in the very top. So very top there, as you can see with our turning stick, we can adjust what's going on with our lamps there. I just recommend keeping it on the auto setting, and then we can turn our fog lamps on or off there as well, pull in towards us for our high beams. Off to the right hand side, we can figure out what's going on with our windshield wipers for our front ones, and then we can twist this in order to be able to get our rear ones going as well. We're going to pull in towards us for the front wiper fluid, we're going to push away for the rear fluid. Looking along the left-hand side, this is where things get a little interesting, and I'll explain why. Because we've got a voice command prompt there, which when we press that, this thing is literally going to be useful if we want to be able to do things like use Siri as our assistant there. So we do need to be hooked up through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay in order to be able to use our assistants by pressing this button. Looking at our mode button there, that's going to let us switch out between a few different modes. So you can kind of see that we can set what's going on there. So we can set it up so that when we press that button, the Sirius XM, does it cycle between Sirius XM, AM, FM, etc. So we've got a few different options that are available to us. We've got our volume rocker, so we can kind of go up and down, which, speaking of what, let's do a quick audio test. Kind of nice song, all right. We can seek between different stations by moving this up and down, and then we can literally press and hold it if we want to be able to seek that way as well. So it is kind of neat that we've got some flexibility there. We can also mute out by pushing this button in the middle there in order to be able to turn the volume off completely. This one is going to be able to give us the option of either answering or hanging up on a phone call. And then we've got a unique button, which gives us the option of doing pretty much, well, I shouldn't say anything, but we've got some options. So we can push that button in order to be able to end phone calls. We can change devices. We can set up a voice memo and things like that simply by pushing this button. So we can kind of set it for more or less what we'd like it to do. Looking along the right-hand side, we've got a few different buttons there as well. Now, this first one is going to let us cycle between active pages inside of the middle screen. This one is going to let us go up and down between different things. And then if we push that one in the middle, if we press and hold it, that's going to reset all of our info. So if we had accumulated info, perfect example. So we press and hold the OK button there, and it's reset the value for us. So really that simple. Now let's actually go through before we get to the adaptive buttons there. So we're going to start off with our different pages. So going down, so we've got our digital speedometer there, which is always nice. We can press and hold to go to miles per hour instead. Pushing the button again, we've got some basic drive settings. So we press and hold OK. And we've got some driver assistance settings. So we've got our reaction time, so fast, slow, our warning timer as well, our warning volume. So for our driver assistance, so is it going to happen, yes or no? And then is there going to be volume or any sort of a warning with that as well? Our driver attention, so if we start to veer over into a lane without signaling, we will have our driver attention warning it starts to kind of go up. So once we get to a certain number, we're going to get a warning letting us know that we should probably take a break. Moving back, we've got our forward collision system. So if the vehicle senses a potential collision with active assist enabled, it's automatically going to brake for us. We can have it so that there's just a warning or so that nothing happens. Really a matter of preference. With our lane safety system, so we've got the assist, which is going to gently nudge us back into our lane. We've got a warning, which will just let us know as we start to veer over, or we can turn the system off as well. Our blind spot system, so that lets us know if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. And we've got our safe exit warning. So if the vehicle senses there's somebody coming off to our side as we go to open the door, it's going to let us know. So we can either have that actively assist, a warning, or nothing happens. Our park, so our rear cross traffic alert. So as we go to back up, if the vehicle senses a potential collision, it's going to let us know if somebody's coming from our left or right. That's going to be the basics of our assistant settings. So we've got our attention level, and this is the one that I was telling you about earlier. So each one is going to represent every time you kind of veer over without signaling. Once that gets to that high level, it's going to let you know you should probably take a break. We've got our tire pressure, which we have to drive in order to see that, and we can see exactly what power is going to which wheel as we go as well. Pushing that again, we've got some more settings. So we've already seen these driver assistance settings there. Moving down, we've got our cluster, so we've got our wiper light display, icy road warnings, a welcome sound when we turn the car on, and we've got some different themes that are available. So this is literally going to be the themes that are available as we go through different drive modes as well, but we can select whatever theme or what look and colors we'd like. Moving down, we've got some basic for our lights, so we've got the illumination there, which we can either increase or decrease the cluster of the screen there, just off to the left-hand side there. Moving down, we've got our one-touch turn signal, so we can go 3, 5, or 7 flashes, or just a single flash. So we go left, Single flash versus, we're on 7. So it's literally going to go 7 times. So, I mean, you got some flexibility as to which one ends up showing up. It's going to be a matter of personal preference there. Moving back, we've got our headlight delay as well. So when we go to lock the vehicles, do the lights stay on? Our door, we've got our auto lock. So that means that as we go to shift or when we hit a certain speed, then the vehicle is automatically going to lock the doors and unlock when we shift it into park with the vehicle turned off or off completely. And then our 2-press unlock there. We've got our convenience, so rear occupant alert. So when we go to turn the vehicle off, it's going to let us know that we should check the back seats to make sure there's nobody back there. So nice little safety setting there, but we can easily turn that one on or off if we'd like to. And that's just going to be back in our convenience settings. Yeah, convenience settings. Auto rear wiper. So if we've got our front wipers going and we shift the car into reverse, with this setting turned on, it's automatically going to turn on our rear wipers for us as well. And then we can select our service intervals. Moving back again, we've got our units. So speed unit, kilometers or miles per hour. We've got our temperature unit, so Celsius Fahrenheit, fuel economy unit, we've got some options there, tire pressure unit, etc. And then reset, we can bring everything back to our factory default settings. So if you've kind of played around with settings a little bit too much, we can bring it back to our default instead. And that's going to be the basics of our screens there. So it is pretty straightforward. Now looking off to the right-hand side a little bit more, we've got a series of other buttons there. So this one is actually going to turn the smart cruise control system on or off. So we have to start driving in order to be able to turn it on, and then we can set our speed by pressing plus or minus. So we set our preferred speed, and what's going to happen is if the vehicle in front of us starts to slow down, ours will automatically slow down. If they pick up speed or get out of the way, yours will pick back up to that set speed again. We've got our distance indicator, so how close or how far are we away from the vehicle that's in front of us. And then we've got the actual lane centering system. So that's the one that's not just going to bump us in our lane. It's literally going to steer the wheel for us as we go. So you lose attention for a second and the vehicle recognizes the lane markings. It's going to take us around a bend, the curve, whatever the case may be. So it is a very, very great system and a good safety option there. We don't have to drive with it on, but it is a great system to really get the hang of things. So honestly, I recommend just kind of playing around with this one. And once you figure out how this actually works, I think you're going to absolutely love it. So that's kind of the steering wheel and looking at the instrument cluster and things like that in a nutshell. So that is pretty neat, right? So pretty simple setup and nice layout there. I kind of love the fact that we've got the flexibility to be able to kind of decide what button we want to do what as well. If you run into any problems, have any questions, drop them into the comment section below and let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, share it with your social networks, and until I see you next time, take care.